by. They're latched. Check your targets, watch the crossfire. They're in standard formation. Little bastards up front, big ones in back. Good luck, Cairo.
Field of fire on that bulkhead. As soon as that door opens, let them have it. Clear the crash site. Go, go, go!
The highest concentration of Covenant troops is directly below the carrier. I don't think they want you to get on board. That bridge is the most direct route to the city center.
Okay, let's eat and change our shoes. I think you got some on me. Less time here, more time there. Scared of us.
Chief, the carrier just launched a wave of pods. They're inbound on your position.
Quite a welcome party.
everybody, it's 314 Reactor here, and as you've just seen, there is now a mod out for Halo the Master Chief Collection on Halo 2 to add in full shadowing and improve all of the lighting. Now what we're viewing here is the original announcement trailer for Halo 2, which I believe came out in 2002. Now this and the Halo 2 E3 2003 demo, if you're old enough to remember back that far, both featured full lighting from what was called the Stencil engine. Now I don't know whether this originally used stencil shadows. I can't quite tell from the footage here. I imagine it just used shadow mapping. And this, in combination with the better lighting that it was supposed to have and the normal mapping, would have given it a much better look. As we can see here, the incredible shadowing gives it a much more Doom 3 sort of look. And in fact, that shadow from the door there looks like a shadow map. So it's called the Stencil engine, but they were using shadow maps. Now, of course, this looks absolutely incredible. But when the final game came out, the shadows were really, really downplayed because the original Xbox just couldn't handle that level of shadowing, or they couldn't optimize it in time because Halo 2's development was notoriously horrendous. So the final game looked very flat in the lighting, lack of shadowing, complete lack of depth. Now of course, as you've seen at the beginning of the video, there is now finally a mod out that re-adds the shadowing and does the lighting. So let's check it out on the workshop. So obviously you need the Halo Master Chief Collection on PC with Halo 2 installed, and what you do is go to the workshop, and you may see it under most popular items here, but if not, you can just go to the search bar and type in lighting, hit enter, and then go to the Halo 2 restored lighting mod. It's about 2 GB big, and this mod is made by the creator Mr.PirateFox. It's first released on the 27th of June by the looks of it, and has had a few extra updates, and the final update, Metropolis, was added on the 3rd of July. So it looks like they're making good progress with it, and hopefully we can see the whole game have additional shadows and enhanced lighting added. And then you hit subscribe, and once it's downloaded, all you have to do is then go to the Halo Master Chief Collection, hit play, and then select play Halo MCC anti-cheat disabled, which allows mods but has limited services, i.e. you can't play online, and then just click the play button. And then once you're in, you just go to campaigns, click on Halo 2 Anniversary, and then click on Halo 2 Lighting Test. And then you can click on missions here, and there's only 3 missions so far, which is Cairo Station, Outskirts, and Metropolis. Let's dive in to Cairo Station. And here we are on the opening cutscene. You can already see the self-shadowing on the Chief there and on Johnson. Now I think these scenes did have quite a bit of shadowing in them originally, as well as a bit of updated graphics compared to normal gameplay. But I'm going to put the original game's cutscene in the corner there so you'll be able to see the comparison in real time. But I think the real changes we're going to see will be in the gameplay. Because I think the engine did have the capability to do complex shadowing, but they just couldn't enable it all. I think Brute Force was able to do a considerable amount of shadowing and self-shadowing, and with large environments. I'm guessing they just couldn't get that optimization for Halo 2. So I think those shadows there from those people are standard in the original game.
Gentlemen, we're lucky to have you back. Go ahead, Cortana.
Another whisper, sir, near Io.
As I say, I think the lighting itself has also been updated.
You look nice.
Thank you.
So I have just played this through on the new mod, and it does look very similar.
For a soldier of the United Earth Space Corps,
there can be no greater heresy. Let him be an example.
But we will see when we have the final comparison once I've edited the video. But you can definitely tell when you actually get to gameplay how much better it looks. In fact, I think these are pretty much the same. I can see Miranda's shadow there didn't shadow on the Chief. But I will be doing comparisons on the openings of all 3 levels, just to be sure.
Slip space ruptures directly off our battle cluster.
Show me.
15 Covenant capital ships holding position just outside the kill zone.
This is Fleet Admiral Harper. We are engaging the enemy.
Negative, Admiral. Form a defensive perimeter around the cluster.
Ah, the blue lighting. Oh, that brings me back.
Link up with the
It's almost 20 years ago now that I got Halo 2
You have the Mac gun.
originally.
As soon as they come
And
away,
yeah, I remember this scene blowing my mind. But I was thinking that the E3 demo was on the way at the time. I'll probably do a video on it, a 20-year video.
They're going to try to take our Mac guns
I remember I had 2 cans of Coke and a whole bunch of Haribo sweets that I'd got specially for the occasion. And I was so excited. But as I say, I believe all this looks the same. So this part may not even be in the video. But here we are, finally on the gameplay bit, and here you can really see the shadowing. Now it's really low resolution, as the mod maker says. You can see the sort of pixelated nature of the shadow maps here. I think that is a limitation of the engine, which is a shame because I think the filtering and the resolution was higher in the original announcement trailer and the E3 demo. Oh, you can see some of the shadowing disappearing a bit there. And that is most likely because of geometry culling. So this piece of geometry here will be culled as you move away from it. That's why the shadow disappears. So there'll be a few odd glitches like that as we go forward.
How's it going, Malta?
Stand by. They're latched. Check your targets. Watch the crossfire.
You can see
They're in
just
standard
how
bastards up front, big ones in back. Good luck, Cairo.
much better it looks. Much more in depth. And the low resolution textures don't look as bad.
Feel the fire on that bulkhead. As soon as that door opens, let them have it.
Because you've got all this extra shadowing. But you are seeing a lot of shadows disappearing, a lot of geometry being culled off screen here.
Let them have it.
So let's do it. Now this bit, yeah, you can see, look at that, multiple shadows there from that elite as he ran in from different light sources. So looking really good. And the lighting just looks way less flat here from what I remember. Oh, oh. So yeah, it's not just the shadow mapping, it is improvements to the overall lighting. Let's grab a plasma weapon. Oh. Okay. Looks like there's still a bit of work to do on this mod, as there doesn't appear to be any lighting coming from the plasma weapons. Hopefully they will fix that, and also add in the nice bright lighting that was in the original Halo from the plasma weaponry. Because it wasn't just the lack of shadows or self-shadowing, it was just the lack of overall lighting. In Halo 1, when you fired the needler or, you know, plasma weapons and stuff like that, it would make, or even human weapons, it would make huge amounts of lighting. Not shadowing, but lighting in general. So if you were to charge up a plasma pistol or fire a plasma rifle, you'd get a lot of bright lights coming from it. In Halo 2, you just didn't have that at all. And also, I hope they work with Ruby, who's working on Ruby's rebalanced Halo 2, to add this lighting and shadow overhaul into their mod as well, because that would be awesome, because I know that Ruby is working on that to bring the graphics up to par with the original Halo. Because there's also the lack of sort of glowing plasma burns that you saw in Halo 1. You just get these weird splats, and I know Ruby is adding in the original glowing plasma burns that are in Halo 1. So to re-add in all the shadowing and proper lighting as well and get that all up to scratch, I think that would be a great collaboration between the two modders and would make Ruby's rebalanced Halo 2 even more incredible. Let's see if there's any lighting from this. Nope. You can even see the extra shadowing there. Look at that. It's really blocky. But if they can find a way to add in some extra filtering, this can look really incredible. Even just having this, just shadowing around here, the extra lighting here, because the texture's really low res compared to Halo 1. And there was a distinct lack of specular mapping as well in Halo 2 compared to Halo 1, and it was a real downgrade. I remember being quite disappointed. But look at this though, look how much better this scene looks. You got the directional light there creating these shadows. Oh, it looks really good. It's giving me a kind of bizarre, giddy feeling for some reason. Oh. Now if they can just add in a bit more lighting, like I say, and add in some dynamic lighting and shadowing from the grenades and plasma rifles and stuff like that, that'd be incredible. Because I think it's just from the directional lighting, so you'd have a sort of abstract light up here, like the sun being a directional light, and all the shadows are based off of that. So when you shine the torch, you don't get any sort of real-time shadows coming from the torch. The torch just goes right through. So it's not quite up to the sort of Doom 3 levels. That'd be another cool thing if the modder could add that as well. So my game just crashed, but it allowed me to take a bit of an extra deeper dive of the description here. So it's using SEV's custom shaders for better shadow filtering. Hopefully they can enhance that over time. Again, they mentioned that they're not Stencil shadows, and there's quite a big performance here. Even with a 1080 Ti, it will drop from 144 FPS down at 1080p, so it will impact the frame rate, which makes sense. Again, they mentioned the shadow resolution. They mentioned the disappearing shadows, which we've seen, and yeah, it's because of the game culling objects that generate the shadows when they're out of FOV, and lights appear and disappear for the same reason, especially on large levels. They say they're unfixable, but hopefully over time they are able to find a way to address these. So let's dive back into the game and check out some Outskirts. So I'm not sure what the SEV shaders are. I've done a bit of Googling, and all I can see is Minecraft shaders that share a similar name. Yeah, I can't find anything about it. I imagine it's someone who's just made a shader that can allow the shadowing to be added, but I can't find anything specific on it. If anyone can let me know in the comments, please do. I may have missed something really obvious. But let's dive in to Outskirts. And we're going to again look at the opening video, but this may not be in the final edit because I think again the actual shadows aren't added in the cutscenes. They're only added in the final gameplay.
And we most definitely regret the Corps just blew up our raggedy-ass fleet! Hoorah!
Regret is a name, Sergeant. The name of one of the Covenant's religious leaders, a prophet. He's on that carrier.
Like I said, I'll see in the edit. Some of the lighting does look a bit better here, but then it could just be my imagination. It looks like the bloom's been cranked up a little bit.
It's your call, Sergeant. We're going in.
This game has a really cool bloom look, even the original game, because it was not done in a HDR pipeline, but it had bloom on it, which means the bloom threshold is limited to the standard dynamic range, which means you can have quite strong bloom and not exactly accurate bloom, but it gives it a really cool sort of mid-2000s look to the graphics. See, some of the textures are quite high res, but they don't have like the micro textury look like in the original Halo.
Shake it off, Marines.
And here we go. So as you can see, this area looks quite nice. Again, we'll see in the final edit how much of these are baked shadows and how much are real time. I think these may be baked here. I remember this being a baked in sort of shadow. See, this bit looks better already. Oh yeah, look at that. Again, I have just a few minutes ago played through the OG version of this, so it could just be placebo, but it does, even without the extra shadowing, the lighting just looks way better. Like the lighting here just looks more bloomy and like it's actual sunlight hitting it. And the whole scene looks a lot more in depth. Like the shadowing here, Just wasn't present, and it looked like an Unreal Tournament level originally, which of course came out 5 years before Halo 2. Now, I think these things here, they're baked in shadow maps. They were always present, but it still looked really flat because it just lacked any sort of shadow. Like, the trees here just weren't shadowed at all in the original. This just looks so much more superior. And yeah, look at that. This dynamic light here producing a nice shadow map. It does look like you have actually got multiple light sources that can add shadowing in, because you've got the directional light source from the sun making a shadow, and then you've also got this extra shadow here coming from this light here, and both happening at the same time. So it's entirely possible to get the plasma rifles, plasma pistols to be really bright again and have really huge light sources, and also cast their own dynamic shadows from them. Yeah, look at that double shadow there from the two different light sources. I'm not sure what the other light source is there, because one's from the sun, but I'm not sure what's causing the Marine's second shadow there. But this just looks so much better. So much more what you'd expect from Halo 2. No shadows from small things like this. So hopefully that's added in future. It'd be nice to see shadowing from this. Shadowing from the ammo here. And also the other example here of low resolution textures are the ammo packs here. In Halo 1 you could read the writing on these and they were really high res, really nice. And now they're just really low res, blurry. Again, I believe Ruby is working on updating those textures in their latest version of the Rebalance mod. So we've seen this courtyard area quite a bit now. It looks really nice. You've got these extra shadows, extra lighting. I'm fairly certain that even the lighting on the guns is better here. It just looks really nice. Okay, let's see what shadows we get from the hunters as they come through. Hiya, fellas. So I think they had those original shadow maps before, but they may have extra shadowing on them now. Again, hopefully they can update it so that the fuel rod cannon that they fire makes extra shadowing. That'd be awesome. See, there's actual quite a bit of green lighting coming from the fuel rod cannon there. I can't remember if that was in the original or not. I don't think it was. Or even just the glow from the cannon itself, even when it's not firing. I'm fairly certain that was not in the original, that glow. I don't remember that. I think that's been added in. And if they can add that level of extra glow to all the weapons when they're firing, that would be awesome. Look at that beautiful bump mapping.
Find a hole, stay put.
Especially on the battle rifle. Oh man, look at that. That's one thing I really did love about Halo 2. The bloom and the normal mapping was just absolutely incredible. Looks so nice. See, this area just looks so much better. So much less flat. I always felt that something was wrong with this when I first played it, because Halo 1 was so not flat in terms of the lighting and the environments. And then yeah, Halo 2 just looked like a major step back in many ways. In some ways it was more advanced, but in so many ways it just looked, like I said, more like an Unreal Tournament level, which was just bizarre. Especially this area. I mean, look at this. You still got the baked shadowing here, but I'm certain you've got extra lighting here. Yeah, you can tell what the extra lighting is because you can see when it gets cold. So that shadow wouldn't have been there originally. The shadowing from these things wouldn't have been there originally. There were some areas, I think in the more flood sort of areas, where the dynamic shadowing was on, but it was very limited. So there were certain areas where objects like this would cast shadows in real time. Very limited. So to have them being cast everywhere, I mean, look at this. Again, you can see because it's being culled that they wouldn't have been there in the original. Which makes me wonder if in the areas where they did have self-shadowing from objects like that, I wonder if that got culled in the original game. Of course, the notoriously awful sniper jackals were the bane of everyone's life in 2004. See, there's no shadowing coming from that fire there, unfortunately. This area here with a bit of dynamic lighting coming through. shadow. Oh, it looks so good. See, this area was... Yeah, again, no dynamic shadows from the flashlight, but this area did have some shadowing in it. And I believe this was supposed to be an extra thing they were going to have in Halo 2, where stealth was going to be much more of an element, like you could shoot out lights and stuff to hide from enemies. I remember reading that anyway a long time ago. And I think this is a vestigial leftover of that, because there is actually no stealth in this area whatsoever.
This is the place to be, Chief.
You see, it's got that kind of old school thing where the shadows kind of don't all align with each other. You've got shadows over shadows, you've got shadows going through objects onto other shadows, so it's not perfect. But look at the self-shadowing on the Warthog there. Looks much more like what was expected from the previews and E3. Far superior.
Concentration of Covenant troops is directly below the carrier.
Look at the shadows changing as you drive through as well. Ooh, this looks good.
Most direct route to the city center.
This looks really good. Ooh, yeah. See, this game could look so good. I mean, of course you can enable the Halo 2 remastered graphics, obviously. But to have the original artistic intention, with the attention to detail and the technical proficiency equivalent to what we saw in Halo 1, would just be absolutely incredible. So anyway, before we go to Metropolis, what I'm going to do is try and find an area in the original game that has some of the self-shadowing enabled. So from what I remember, the Oracle had some dynamic shadowing on it. On a certain point, I distinctly remember there was some dynamic shadowing. So let's dive in and see if we can find that. So this is an area where there is some dynamic shadowing in the original game. And this is what I was talking about. This is what I remember. And you can see that shadow is actually affected by the light, and there is actually a double shadow. So it looks a little bit different from the shadows being used in the mod. Very pixelated. Definitely not stencil shadowing because it's not pixel perfect. So some sort of shadow map, really low resolution, some really basic filtering on it. So yeah, it looks like it was always sort of enabled in the original game engine. Or, in fact, look, even the shadows go over dynamic objects. So you can see the flood there. Even self-shadowing as well. So there were certain areas where this shadowing was enabled in the original game with the self-shadowing. And you can even tell these little areas, it looks a lot better. Now, whether the modder is using their own custom shaders, you know, I believe they are, because they're saying they're using something called SEV custom shaders, or whether they're using what was in the game engine originally and just adding it everywhere, or enabling it everywhere, I'm not sure. This does indeed show that the original game engine was capable of it. And like I say, I'm guessing they just couldn't optimize it for the original Xbox to be able to run everywhere. I mean, in a small hallway like this, you can enable it because there's not that much going on. But yeah, if you were to enable it on a large level, like Outskirts or Metropolis or something like that, yeah, you would see huge performance dips. But that is fascinating to see that full shadowing being enabled here. And there you go. Look, even the elites are self-shadowing. So I imagine there's default shadows that come from the directional light that don't self-shadow or anything like that. And then there's special point lights that they can enable in the original game to enable that full self-shadowing, and it looks really good. Let's head to Metropolis with the mod re-enabled. So on the opening cutscene, yeah, not really much shadowing going on.
Rockets didn't do a thing.
I think we can safely assume at this point that the cutscenes are a kind of separate entity in a way to the overall level, and that's why we're not seeing much of the extra dynamic shadowing. Pretty much just looks like it originally did.
Where's the rest of your platoon?
Wasted, Sarge.
And we will be too, sir, if we don't get the hell out of here.
You hit Marine.
Which means these cutscenes can look even better when the modder can enable the full shadowing system within them.
But to guide you back to the true path, I brought this motivational device. cannot be defeated.
What about that scare?
We've all run the
And there's
simulations.
Michelle
They're tough, but they ain't
Rodriguez.
Stay with the Master Chief. He'll know what to do.
Yes, sir.
And the other Marine is played by another actor. I can't remember their name.
Oh, I know what the ladies like.
There it is. Okay. So here we are in the proper gameplay. You can see a lot of baked-in shadows, stuff like this. Baked-in shadow maps. In fact, it looks like the Chief's shadow is kind of disappearing a bit there. That's strange. So again, you got the original shadow. I believe it's that one.
What is it?
And then the newer shadow, which is shadowing on the Marine, I believe.
Go on, sir. We'll totally follow you.
Yeah, so this is the dynamic shadow, and this is the original game shadow. Anyway, let's dive into the tank. So I think this level is the latest one that the modder has worked on. So I don't believe it's complete yet. So still a bit to go. There we go. There we go. Now the Chief's shadow is a bit more defined. So yeah, you got the sun, directional light producing the dynamic shadow, which does self-shadow on the Scorpion. And then you've got this shadow here, which I believe is the game's original shadow. Now the funny thing is that the game's original shadow doesn't respect the light source from the sun, because that shadow you expect because the sun's there. This shadow you do not. So again, another example of where Halo 2's development was a little bit rushed, because the default shadow you could have just put this direction to make sure it lined up with the direction of the sun, but there you go. I'm guessing as well in future the model will want to remove these old shadows and just completely get rid of them and just have the completely dynamic shadows. Now as we zoom in and look at this shadow directly, you can tell it's far, far, far more low resolution than what we were seeing in the Oracle level on the original engine. So I believe this is a different sort of shadow. Either that or they've had to make it a low resolution in order to make it performant. I am not sure, but it also looks like there's some self-shadowing from the tank onto itself here as well. And there you go, there's the shadow culling. So these shadows from these vehicles here wouldn't be present on the original game. But look at that, how much better does that look? Wow. Way better.
Look out!
Like I said, it just really makes up for those low resolution textures, which I believe they had to lower the resolution of from Halo 1 to enable the characters to have more detail. Let's continue further up. You can see the sort of double shadows from the ghosts there. We should see some dynamic lighting here. Yep. Oh, look at that. I'm fairly certain that wasn't in the original. Let's see if we can get a look at the Chief's own shadow here. So there's the original shadow. See, this is where the original shadow actually looks a bit more aligned with the direction of the light. Although I think that's just coincidence. It looks like the dynamic shadow is much more defined here. So I'm still not sure what the SEV shaders mean. It may just be a way of enabling those shadows on a more global basis, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Because I imagine they were just in the game engine editor. I imagine there's lights you can add in that probably have a parameter on them that enables the full stenciling, or the full shadow mapping, should I say. But they just weren't enabled for the most part for performance reasons. So I'm not 100% sure. Again, someone let me know in the comments. Oh. I thought I saw some self-shadowing on the shotgun there. But I don't think it is. I think that's just baked lighting. See, it'd be really cool to see proper self-shadowing and everything. So you have a dynamic light source, say here, where the Chief's shadow is being affected by that light source. It'd also be really cool to have dynamic shadows on the weapon, like on the iron sights, creating a shadow that moves around. That would be really cool. Look at that, that's so nice. Sure, this area looks better as well. Again, I will try and get a picture-in-picture. And that's very good reason why we are playing on easy. Again, this is another little bit where the game is firing on all cylinders. Just needs a few more tweaks. But this is where the game becomes a lot more exciting and what it was promised to be. Oh man, I really do hope the modder aligns their work with Ruby's rebalanced mod, which hopefully gets released around about the 20th anniversary of Halo 2. And here we go. Here's where the music kicks in.
There are a number of Marines trapped in that building, Chief. Concentrate on the Wraiths. They're the biggest threat.
Again, I'll try and get some picture-in-picture here.
Who's in charge now, Corporal?
Sergeant Banks, ma'am.
This area, look how much better that looks. Just the simple thing of adding in a shadow here from that point light.
Check it, that's the new armor. When I asked for reinforcements, I didn't think they'd send a Spartan. You got trouble.
Oh man, this bit was incredible. Looks like some extra shadowing from the bits down here. Ooh, yeah. Bit of extra dynamic lighting through here as well. That's something interesting. That looks like a screen space reflections sort of aberration. Sort of this pattern here being reflected in the water. Is that something new added in by the mod? I don't remember that being in the original game. Ooh, even this area looks better. Way better than I remember. Right, let's tool up. See if we can snipe some enemies ahead of time. Just need to catch up to the Scarab. Yeah, I'm sure all this looks way better. Even with all the limits of the original game, this bit was still amazing to play through and quite technically impressive. See, it just needs a few little tweaks, a few little extra things. In some places, some substantial rework, but this game can indeed reach the level that it was meant to back in 2004 originally. Let's do some CQB sniper rifle. Ooh, look at this. This looks a little bit extra shadowed as well. Again, not fully shadowed. There's still some extra things that the modder probably needs to get around to adding in, but... Ooh, oh boy. So there's quite a few light sources in here. You know, this light glowing here, the lights from the computers. If you could get them all casting shadows, that would be amazing. Although it may be a bit too expensive. Oh boy! Oh no. Maybe a bit too expensive even on modern hardware, but If there was a way to get it optimized, that would be very, very cool. Now I just need to not die from this elite. There we go. That would have been quite embarrassing. Something else that would be cool as well is having a bit more of a dynamic light source from the sword, and also having shadows cast from that. That would be amazing as well. Let's take this dude out, and that should be the level done. Oh, that is really cool. It gives me hope for Halo 2. It can reach the potential that was promised over 20 years ago in the announcement trailer and the E3 demo. And I'm really hoping, like I say, that this modder combines their work with the work that Ruby is doing for Halo's Ruby Rebalanced, and we can get Halo 2 up to scratch with the original Xbox aesthetic, reaching its full potential and fixing all the annoying gameplay issues, so it's just as tight on Legendary as Halo 1 was. And yeah, hopefully we can have all of that in time for the Halo 2 anniversary this year, which I'm so excited for. So much nostalgia for that. Anyway, that is the Halo 2 lighting rework mod. Again, check it out on the workshop. Thanks for watching. Please do leave a like, subscribe, hit the little bell, really helps, and keep an eye out for future videos. Hope everyone's staying safe, and I will see you in the next video.